Hello Virgo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection, so we'll have your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between the connection, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection, the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone. And they might not resonate for you at all. So please do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Last thing, any information on the extended reading or on booking a coaching session or personal reading with me is in the description box below. All right, Virgo, let's take a look. Let's see what you're dealing with. This is starting with your side of this connection to the person that you're dealing with. Virgo's energy toward the person I'm dealing with, needing to learn the most from right now. Virgo, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Virgo's side of this connection. There we go. Growth. No, that doesn't say growth. That says forgiveness. Why did I say it? It looks a lot like the growth card. Forgiveness with dead end. Okay. So I feel like this connection is kind of hit like what feels like a dead end. Now, I'm not saying that it's hopeless. Okay, I'm not saying that's it, you better give up. But I do feel like it feels like you're trying to find a certain get to a certain place in this connection. And you're trying to navigate the connection to try to figure out how to get there. It feels like you keep hitting dead ends. It's like you keep hitting a cap on where this connection can take you. Now, this forgiveness card is interesting because I feel like this is an indication that you have a tendency to be very forgiving toward this person, which forgiveness is and your ability to give forgiveness is a wonderful quality to have. Empathy is important. Unconditional love is important. But I feel like, and this is going to sound interesting, but I feel like you're handing out your forgiveness a little too freely. Now, what I mean by that is forgiving is one thing. Accepting repeated behavior is another, right? And I feel like, I don't know, there's something about needing to be like a little bit more upfront or like honest, or what is the word I'm looking for? It's like a little bit more like, no, I'm not going to accept that behavior. Or like, no, that's not okay. Like assertive, I guess, but not in a mean way necessarily, because I feel like this connection does have a lot of potential, right? Because you wouldn't be trying to navigate to something if you didn't see a way there. But it feels like it's like you keep turning down roads and you're like, oh, that's not the way, that's not the way, that's not the way. I don't know. Okay, this person's energy toward Virgo. It's like you're a little too forgiving, which is, I guess forgiving isn't the problem. Because forgiving is important, and sometimes we have to forgive people, not even to their face, right? But just so that we can find peace. Because forgiveness is more of an act of self-love than it is an act of love towards another person, because it allows us to kind of free ourselves from the experience that somebody else provided us. But, okay, redacted with follow your heart. So here, again, it's another like two road signs, right? Dead end and follow your heart. It's like trying to find get to a certain place in this connection. And I feel like this person is, okay, interesting. They're trying to follow their heart in this connection. I do feel like they have feelings here. I feel like that is true. However, redacted. This is an energy of not being totally upfront or honest, or like holding back maybe how they feel, or redacting some truth about things. And I feel like it's like they have a tendency to do this. And when they do this, you guys reach a dead end. And I feel like then you're like, maybe you find something out, or, there's an argument or whatever, and then you forgive them for that, and then you're back on the road again. And then same kind of thing happens. It's almost as if this person doesn't want you to see who they really are. It's like maybe they're wearing a bit of a mask in the connection, or they're, pretending to be someone that they're not. And that is more, kind of says more about like where they're at than it has anything to do with you. But then they have this follow their heart card. It's like, I do feel like this connection aligns with like what they want, but with the know your worth, I feel like this person struggles to know their worth. And then look at that, underneath that is drama, a literal mask. So I feel like it's almost like you've been trying to figure this person out. And it feels like as soon as you have them figured out, I don't know if they do something or what that makes you like question things here. But I feel like it's hard because obviously the destination that you're looking for in this connection is possible, like that potential is there, which is why I feel like you kind of have a tendency to let things slide, is because you're like, well, this person's learning or they're trying their best or whatever the case is, and that might be true. Because I don't necessarily get that this person is like trying to be like harmful. I feel like they're just struggling with knowing their own worth. And when people struggle with knowing their own worth, I mean, insecurity can cause people to do not so great things in relationships. But let's see. Truth of the connection between Virgo and this person. Fate. Boundaries. Ooh, that's a complicated energy. I feel like this person, it feels like there's so much connection here that I feel like it maybe like felt like fate when you met them. You were like, oh my gosh, like this is the person that's meant for me. And maybe that's why you're so committed or have been so committed in this connection to get to that destination, whether that's commitment or a place of like, just like a good place, getting to a good place in this connection. However, with this boundaries card, it feels like there's also kind of this need to protect yourself from where they're at. Now, I do feel also what this fate card is saying is that you and this person were like destined to meet. Like you and this person were supposed to meet. I feel like there are some deep lessons here. However, I feel like this connection is really complicated, especially because I feel like you see through this person's mask. I feel like you see who they really are and you love them anyway, right? But they struggle to love themselves, so they won't let that guard down. They won't take off that mask. So I feel like it's frustrating for you because you're just like, oh my gosh, like, come on, like, just take off the mask, like, just be vulnerable, like, let's just talk, or like, just be yourself. Like, you don't need to hold back or whatever the case is. And it's like, you're like, I already see through it. Like, there's no need for that, So I think that there's a lot, it's a lot more than just, they're acting one way and you're responding another. I feel like their energy is very complicated because I feel like you have a lot of empathy for them. And I feel like you have a lot of an understanding of maybe why they act the way that they do. And that's important. Empathy is important. But, empathy and unconditional love does not equal unconditional tolerance. Like, just because we love someone or we care about them or even because we understand them, like that doesn't mean that we have to tolerate their behavior, that we have to continue to allow them to treat us a certain way, which is hard when we care about someone. But let's get a little bit deeper here. We're going to clarify these messages, starting with dead end. This is Virgo's side of the connection. Because it's like, yeah, you just keep hitting a dead end with this person. And it's like, no matter, you turn around, you get back on the road, and it's like, that's not the right way. Like, that's another dead end. All right. Virgo's side of this connection. And you know what I feel is I actually feel like it's because this person won't follow their heart. 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So I do feel like, oh, and there's the Knight of Swords. I feel like you've been chasing this person. I feel like you've been doing what you can. It's like, and again, I think that it comes from this place of you see that potential and you're like, I want to get there. So I feel like you're trying to kind of like do what you can to get there, right? But this 3 of Pentacles in reverse is this, it's like the pieces keep either falling apart or not falling into place because it feels like you're kind of really the only person putting in effort in like a healthy way. So you're kind of left feeling very alone because you're like, why am I always the one willing to try or willing to fix things? Or why am I always having to do the forgiving? Or why am I always having to, like why? And I feel like that's left you starting to maybe struggle with your own sense of self-worth or even like wondering if you're ever going to find the love that you deserve and desire. Because, yeah, there's the Fool. Like, you're looking for this new beginning, and I just feel like, I don't know, it's like they won't give it to you, even though they desire it. It's so interesting. Okay, this person's energy toward Virgo. And that, again, says more about them than it does you. Redacted. This person's energy toward Virgo. Yeah, there it is. 2 of Swords in reverse. It's like the ball is in their court in some way. And I'm not saying like they have the control over you or over this connection, but I feel like if they would make some sort of decision to change or decision to do better or open up or be vulnerable or take that mask off or whatever the case is, it's like, I feel like there is so much potential here. And I feel like that's why it's so frustrating and why I feel like you've been willing to kind of put in so much effort is you're like, as soon as like this change happens, then we're good. Things will be good. Like, and I think that that's really common in connections where we're dealing with kind of difficult people or people who kind of struggle with unhealthy dynamics with themselves, is we kind of get in the middle of it, right? Especially if you're dealing with someone who isn't, capable or willing to really be vulnerable or to take that mask off. Like all of those things, that's them protecting themselves, right? They've learned those because they've been through things that have made them feel like they have to protect themselves. And that's where the empathy comes in, because you're like, well, they don't need to protect themselves from me. Like I'm here to love them. And I think that that's why, because I feel like you, Virgo, in this connection have been so nurturing and compassionate. And I think that those are such good qualities. And I hope that you never lose those, because I think, especially when we're dealing with people that hurt us, it's easy to kind of lose those qualities. But it's not that you shouldn't be compassionate, and it's not that you shouldn't be understanding. It's that you need to make sure that you're directing that compassion and that understanding back to yourself as well. Because yes, this person deserves love, right? Everybody does. But so do you, right? And I think that it's like, well, I see this person deserves love and I want to be that for them. But then in the meantime, you are in a position where you're kind of getting screwed over. If I'm being honest, you're getting screwed over by this person's behavior. And I feel like you're like, well, if I could love this person into loving themselves, then they would love me, more. And I think that that's where we start to kind of get lost in our relationships, is when we think that we have any kind of say in how someone does or doesn't love themselves. You cannot love somebody into loving themselves. Truth, the connection between Virgo and this person, clarifying fate. Page of Pentacles here. And then here's the Queen of Wands. So you could be dealing with a fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, but you don't have to be. This Page of Pentacles is asking you to look at what's happening in this connection as an opportunity. I don't know if it is an opportunity to grow, because I said growth at the very beginning, which I'm still like, why did I do that? It would be an opportunity for growth, evolvement. It's almost like this connection is one of those, like, this was one of the things that you signed up for on this soul journey. Like, it's like you were meant to meet this person because the lesson associated with this connection, like your soul in this lifetime is meant to experience. So I feel like that's why maybe it's been such a difficult connection for you to navigate. Overall theme of this reading for Virgo, please. Because I feel like this connection is trying to lead you, or what you're having to deal with in this connection is trying to lead you closer to the love that you deserve. Detour. Oh my gosh, detour. Literally, like driving on the road. It's like this person constantly takes you guys down detours that end up leading to dead ends. And then you have someone better. Someone better. I think that this is really hard. When we're dealing with someone we love and care about, we want them to be the person for us, right? But what if we believed that there was somebody out there that we loved to the extent that they loved us? Like, they loved us unconditionally. We loved them unconditionally. We didn't need to change them. We had strong feelings for them. Like, what if we believed that that person out there existed? I bet we put up with a hell of a lot less, right? Because you wouldn't accept less than what you deserve if you knew that what you deserve existed. So I feel like this person, it's like you keep trying to make it work. That's what this feels like. You keep trying to make it work with this person. And I feel like it keeps leading you to kind of this dead end of like, why won't this work? Why can't I make this work? And I think that Spirit is asking you to kind of get off this path altogether. Not that the connection isn't possible, okay? But the way that things are going and the way that things have been happening isn't going to lead to success, because you have to be, somebody has to be willing to change, right? This person needs to be willing to change. They need to be willing to open up, to put down the mask, to make better decisions in the connection. Like that has to happen. And this connection is going to work, right? But you have no control over that, and there is absolutely no guarantee that they are going to do those things. So the only thing that is in your control is to break the current cycle. That's all you can do. All you can do is make better decisions for yourself. Yes, maybe that leads to the connection working out in the future. Maybe it leads to someone better, because at the end of the day, you deserve better. And I feel like that's what you're needing to understand. But I feel like it's hard for you to see that because you do have so much empathy and understanding for this person that it makes it really, really hard for you to kind of break away from trying to make this work. Virgo side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the story here. Virgo's energy toward the person they are dealing with. Ten of Swords. Oh gosh. Eight of Swords. Queen of Swords in reverse. Is there any more here? The Two of Wands. Let's see, one more. Oh, okay. Hierophant, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Seven of Wands. Okay, let's break this up. So, oh gosh. I feel like this is where you consistently end up in this connection. Just feeling betrayed, maybe even abandoned, just wondering like, what the heck? Like, what the hell? Why? Here we go again. Why are we back here? And I feel like, each and every time this happens or you experience this, now this could come in the form of this person, this could have come in the form of other people, other relationships that you've had. But I feel like each and every time you experience this, you get a little bit less willing to make things work, because I feel like you start to lose the faith that it will, which is totally understandable, right? This Wheel of Fortune in reverse is this indication that there is something karmic going on here. It could be straight up a karmic connection. There could be a karmic lesson in this connection. There's something karmic happening here. And the hard part is I feel like this person with the Eight of Swords here is like a reflection of the limiting beliefs that you have in love. So, for instance, you might be like, well, what if I never find someone better? What if this is as good as it gets for me in love? What if, even as things are right now, like what if this is, all that I'm ever going to be able to experience? And there's almost that like, I would rather take what I can get from this person than risk the fact that I might end up alone, or there might be nobody better, or I miss out on what this could be, right? And that is such, first of all, a natural and understandable way to look at things, but it's also very common. And a lot of people actually end up blocking the love that they're looking for and the love that they desire by holding on to the love that they think that they need. And there's usually a lot more going on to it than that. But with this Two of Wands and the Queen of Swords in reverse, it's almost as if your heart is closed off to any other outcome than this person being the person for you. And that might keep you trapped in continuing to try to make it work. Forgiving wrongdoings and trying to make it work. Forgiving, the way that they treat you or the things that they say to you and try to make it work. And I feel like a lot of that is because, well, what if this is it? And Spirit is asking you to, with this Hierophant, try to look at things from a different perspective. Try to look at things from this perspective of, if this person were to never change, if this person were to continue to be exactly who they are, no change, no growth, nothing, would that be enough for you? And if your answer to that is no, then there's a need to figure out what you can do and what's within your control to take back your power here, because I feel like so much of the power has been given to this person and the decisions that you're hoping that they make. And that's not fair to you, right? Like, you deserve the power to create the love that you deserve, and that should never lie in the hands of another person. It should always lie in the hands of you. But I think that sometimes we are so afraid of what we could lose, especially when we love and care about someone, that we continue to accept mistreatment. We continue to accept where they're at because we don't think that anything better is ever going to happen. So there's something about needing to see that this connection and how things are unfolding in this connection, it's not so much about, this person is not a reflection of what you deserve, or a reflection of as good as it can get for you. This connection and this person is a reflection of as good as you believe it can get for you. This person is a reflection of the love that you believe you are capable of having and that you deserve, right? Which means trying to look at it as a mirror and looking at this from this place of, okay, so how is this connection teaching me to love myself more? If this person won't choose me, how can I choose myself more? Can I set better boundaries? Can I say no whenever I, feel uncomfortable? Can I say yes to things that scare yet excite me? Like, it's looking at more so what is within your control, because I don't feel like this person has like a negative motive here. I don't feel like they're trying to hurt you. I don't feel like they mean to do these things. And I think that you know that. And I think that that's what makes it so hard. But at the same time, you also have to look at it from this perspective of, but I deserve love too. I deserve to be treated well. I deserve somebody who is going to, show up in a way that I need in a relationship, and understanding that you are allowed to desire those things, and that person exists for you. But you might be blocking that person, whether it's in the form of this person or somebody else, by accepting where they're at and how they treat you right now. So boundaries, which we saw, right, in between this connection. All right, this person's energy toward Virgo. The Ten of Swords. I knew there was a mirror. I mean, seeing it as the first card out, right? Because I feel like they're hurting too. Like, and that's what's so hard is I feel like they self-sabotage is what it comes down to. Now, we haven't seen the Knight of Wands in reverse, but I feel like they do self-sabotage in this connection. And I think that that's why things end up the way that they do, because there's the Seven of Swords. It's like secrecy and maybe even deception and just not being honest and holding things back, and just there's a total lack of clarity here and a lack of honesty. And I think that, you know, especially with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, there's a lack of reciprocation. They're not giving you what you're giving here. And I think that although they, because the whole thing was like they're not following their heart, right? They're not taking the steps that they need to take to make this connection work. I feel like they are self-sabotaging here, and I feel like that leads to consequences of their actions, which is like maybe, you know, you pull back, or I don't know, the connection ends up in separation or whatever the case is. Like, that hurts them too, because they want what this connection has to provide them. I mean, I feel like you provide a lot for this person, with especially the amount of compassion and understanding and just genuine like care that I feel like you provide here. But it's, you know, one of the hardest things I've learned is that I cannot take responsibility for other people's limitations, meaning that I can have empathy all day long for how people are, for the fact that, you know, someone self-sabotages and it's not really their fault. You know, maybe there's trauma there, maybe there's things that, you know, aren't fair for them either. But that doesn't mean that I have to put myself in the crossfire of somebody else not being able to make good decisions, especially when it affects me negatively. I've had to address this in my romantic relationships, in relationships with family and with friends. Like, it's something that has been a really tough lesson for me, and I think that it often comes up in connections where we have such a intense love and care for somebody, but we keep getting hurt by the decisions that they make because they aren't doing the work to make better decisions. You know, I think that especially when somebody continues to do something over and over again, but then they, you know, they apologize or they say, oh, it'll be different, because you can tell like they don't necessarily mean to do those things. They just do because it's like that's where they're at, and that's just kind of the capacity that they have at that time. And it's like, it's hard, right, when you care about someone, because you're like, man, you know, I know that you don't mean to do these things, but you do, because that's just kind of where you're at right now. But it's almost like that's why it makes it even more important for you to put your foot down and say, but I deserve more, and I love you, and I wish I could be there for you and help you through this. But every time I try, I end up hurt. And I feel like that's what this connection is trying to ask you to do, is love yourself more than you love this person. And that is so freaking hard. It's such a tricky place to be. But I feel like this person repeats behaviors and patterns in this connection of doing things that harm you. And sure, they might apologize, and they probably fully, and those apologies mean what they say. But the only real apology, and if you take nothing else from this reading, take this, the only real apology is change behavior. If somebody apologizes and then continues to repeat the same behavior or do the same things or hurt you in similar ways, that means that they were just saying words. They weren't actually backing it up with actions, right? So I think that, you know, this person has a lot of growing to do, and a need to kind of address and heal some of the things that causes them to act the way that they do. And I think that you know that, and I think that you want to be there for them and with them through this. But I feel like this is where it's kind of like, but what if they never change? What if their behavior never changes? What if they continue to do this over and over again? At some point, you're just enabling that behavior, right? And that isn't fair to you either. Because I don't feel a lot of accountability here. I feel like there's accountability whenever there are consequences, but there's no change behavior to not repeat the same pattern, if that makes sense. It's like, they're not sorry, they're sorry they got caught kind of thing. Not saying that they got caught doing anything, but like that kind of apology. It's like, I'm not sorry enough to change my behavior, I'm just sorry that this is affecting me. And that comes down to understanding that that is just where this person is at, has nothing to do with your value or what you deserve, and it's certainly not a reflection of how you deserve to be treated. So I think that this is complicated. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is complicated, and this is a really hard position to be in. But boundaries, I think, are huge, and I think that setting boundaries is going to get you off of this path of just continuing to end up in the same place with this person, because I feel like that is hurting you probably more and more each time. In between this connection, you have fate with the Page of Pentacles. I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into this reading, looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. And then I have an advice card to pull from your spiritual team at the very end. Thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Virgo.